Hi, I'm Nate Adams, often known as Nate the House Whisperer, and I wanted to do a quick video on comparing a heat pump water heater and an electric resistance water heater because I happen to have two houses with energy monitors on them, and one has one and the other has another. So it's pretty interesting to see the interplay. So here are our two houses. So there's the River House. This is in Cleveland, Ohio. It's 1,400 square feet. It's a ranch. It's a weird one because it's actually on stilts. It is 15 feet from the Cuyahoga River, hence the name. And Mountain Escape is what we call this house. It is in Fayetteville, West Virginia. So it's kind of funny. This one has a heat pump for space heat, but an electric resistance water heater. This one has resistance for space heat and a heat pump water heater. So neither one of them is fully complete where I would like them to be, but that's real life. So I'm glad at least I finally have a heat pump here. After years of talking about them, I finally have one. But wanted to show you, so this is the Emporia Vue web app, which I really like because it makes it easier to see more stuff on the screen at the same time. So like I can click on the River House and I have 8 lines clamped up there. So I had barn 1 and 2 clamped because I had a Chevy Volt before. I had to turn it into a van for being able to tow our camper around, but had that clamped, and then you can see the other things. So you can see what the induction range is doing, did the outlets in my office, but note the heat pump water heater down here. So it is not running at present. And then I can click on Mountain Escape down here, and it won't quite show you everything, particularly because I have 16 circuits clamped on this one, but you can see what's going on. So the heat pump's running pretty low right now. It's probably going to be ramping up. Yep, so see over here, was it 800 watts and it's coming up. So it turned on and it's ramping right now as we speak. But you can get a pretty good idea pretty quickly what's going on. So I wanted to take a look in particular at a very specific period. So here is December 19th. We went up to Ohio. So this is our Virginia house, West Virginia house, when we went up to Ohio. And so you can see there's just standby losses here, which means the water heater was on, and this is how much energy it took just to heat the water as it was falling in temperature. Now, to be fair, I turned the temperature down in the house, so it was only 60 degrees here, so it did have more losses than the normal 73 degree set point I have. But take a look so see the usage up here, 5 kilowatt hours a day when we come back. But let me slide this over. So look, we're using almost 1.5 kilowatt hours a day. Well, there's 1.5. So it's pretty consistently around 1.5 kilowatt hours a day of standby losses. So it's not actually heating water, it's just keeping it warm. No water's being used. So I run that back over here. Get that to where it says 1219 here. We're using 1.5 kilowatt hours a day just for standby losses on a resistance tank. So this is the resistance one. Now here's the heat pump. So let's look at the same period. So we were up in Ohio, and for whatever reason, it was every other day was showing more usage, probably doing laundry or something like that. But when we were home, so this is right at the same day, this is the water heater doing its job. So not only is it standby losses, but it's actually, doing showers and laundry and washing dishes, and just whatever other uses we had for hot water. Look, it's not that much more. And so some guests, so we Airbnb this house. So here are some guests working it hard, and it's using 3.5 kilowatt hours a day. Or go a little bit further. So here's one of the highest peaks you're going to see at about 4 kilowatt hours a day. So two things to note here. When the heat pump water heater, and it's my family, it's my wife and I and my daughter, when you're talking a family of 3, the standby losses are basically the same as the usage for the heat pump water heater actually doing the work. So gives you an idea of the efficiency swing between them. So not that it's all about efficiency, but like this is one of the rare cases where you can reduce energy use 70 or 80% for the same basic service. Now there is scavenging from heat inside the house, so there's other pieces to the puzzle, but the basic usage of the machine itself is way less. So let's go back. This is the river house, so that's the heat pump water heater. Let's go back to Mountain Escape and just look at our usage with the three of us. So you saw that we were using like 2 kilowatt hours a day on the high side. Look, so we've got plenty of days that are way more than that. So I mean, like 8. There's just lots of days that are more than 2 kilowatt hours, because a heat pump water heater is 300 to 400% efficient. That's legit. We actually are seeing those kinds of numbers. Now let's look at it from a monthly perspective. So here is the river house. This is the heat pump water heater. So you can see it's using somewhere in the ballpark of 50 kilowatt hours a month, somewhere in that range. Not dead on every month. It's going to vary. And so the house isn't always full either. So there's not always an Airbnb guest there. Although I do have to say the occupancy has been pretty good. Like it's been 70, 80%. But then here is our place. So we're using 160 kilowatt hours a month versus 50. So there you are. You can see that we're easily using 2/3 less electricity for a heat pump water heater versus an electric resistance. So thought that might be interesting to see. So, and you saw day by day, we saw what the standby losses are, but the wildest thing to me was that the standby losses, scrolling back to the 19th here, the standby losses on an electric resistance water heater are not that different from the actual usage of the heat pump water heater heating our water to be used. So when we're living there. So thought that was pretty wild. Thought that might be interesting to see. And if you like this video, I do lots of other things like this. So you know the drill. So subscribe, click the bell, all that good stuff. Have a great day. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.